Hello, musical talkers! Your favorite American presenter has returned once again to give you a lovely Musical Talk mini episode, and today I had the good fortune of talking with my very good friend Luke Fredericks. Luke Fredericks and his company just had a recent success with Carousel at the Arcola, and they are bringing us, once again, yet another American musical theater classic piece. Back in the early 1990s, a hideous sight met our eyes when we would go shopping at the grocery store in the U.S., and that hideous sight was of a half-boy, half-bat that was discovered in the hills of West Virginia. And of course the story wasn't true, as it was on the cover of all the supermarket tabloids that would frequent the grocery store magazine racks as you would go check out your food at the checkout aisles in America. And this story was so grotesque, so fascinating, that it made the perfect material for a Broadway musical. And so back in 1997, a group at the Actors Gang Theater produced Bat Boy the Musical for the first time, with music and lyrics by Lawrence O'Keefe. And it is going on now here in London at the Southwark Playhouse, directed by Mr. Luke Fredericks and his same company. And here is a chat that I had with Mr. Fredericks about the piece. Mr. Luke Fredericks, welcome back to Musical Talk. You're no stranger to this podcast.
No, we had a lovely chat over Carousel about 6 months ago.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, and Carousel, huge success for you guys, had a really wonderful following, and so now you are working on Bat Boy the Musical.
Yes, we opened officially last week, and we're running until the 31st. So yeah, in the middle of the run.
And how have things been going so far for you guys?
It's been amazing. The response to the show has been absolutely incredible. We knew it was a very culty, slightly obscure piece that people either knew about very, very well or had never heard of it before. And the response from audiences and the response on Twitter every night is just absolutely insane. It seems to be going down very well, which is lovely.
So, for those of our poor unfortunate listeners who know absolutely nothing about this piece, could you just sort of break it down into a nutshell what the piece is about?
So, Bat Boy is based on a spoof newspaper article written in the early 90s about a boy that was found in a cave who was half bat and half boy. And basically, he is found by three sort of down-and-out teenagers who bring him back into their small American town. And basically, he's left with the local vet, and his wife looks after him, teaches him how to speak, and it's how he ends up finding out who he is and how he is received by the people.
It's absolutely brilliant because there's really no way of saying the synopsis out loud without it sounding absolutely hysterical.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is. And so, stylistically, how would you say the piece comes across? I mean, it's obviously a comedy first and foremost, but what are some of the different motifs that sort of come out there? What are some of the different themes?
Well, the biggest thing for us on this project was it hadn't been done since a production at the Shaftesbury, the West Yorkshire Playhouse transferred to the Shaftesbury about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we wanted to take a different angle with it, and the story is so ridiculously heightened, and the world of the people that it's in is so bizarre and crazy that it sort of echoed very much the old B movies of sort of 1950s and 60s, sort of Rocky Horror and Return to the Forbidden Planet. The idea of finding a creature that is so not of our world and yet trying to make it within our world. It's interesting, both Stuart and I, Stuart's the designer, we worked together a lot, and we both had met many years ago doing the Rocky Horror Show, and the parallels between the craziness of that story and that cult classic and Bat Boy were just too much to not go for.
Yeah.
So we went down this whole B-movie, very heightened, very kitsch camp style, which lends itself really well, we think, to the show.
Absolutely. And so along with the heightenedness of it, as you were saying, it's got a lot of different musical styles in it as well. Does it? Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, there's so many styles. It ranges from sort of legit Broadway musical theatre sound to rap to rock sound. There's sort of a hillbilly sort of hoedown kind of sound in there. It just beautifully sort of sums up the whole eclectic nature of the story. And you really have to... It's one of those pieces that you don't set up one sound world, you don't set up one specific location in which you tell the story. You just have to go with the pure randomness of it, really. Mm-hmm. And that's the charm of it. The charm is the songs are brilliant, the characters are brilliant, but you just have to buy into a world that is not like any other sort of traditional musical.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is a very eclectic piece, and your company has produced shows ranging from what you've done Sherlock Holmes, you've done Carousel at the Arcola, and now you've gone to this. So how has it been from a directing standpoint and a producing standpoint to have such variations and to go to a piece such as this?
Well, this is the first time that the company I've worked with, Stuart, has been produced. We produced the other shows we did, and then this is the first one. We work with Paul Taylor Mills, but it's so far removed from everything we've done before. We just couldn't turn down the opportunity. Carousel was amazing. It's a beautiful traditional show. We had a lot of fun with it, and so to go completely against what people might expect has been really exciting, and I think shocked some people, and other people have been, we've made them smile that we've gone for something so random as an alternative to the one before. But we didn't want to get typecasted to do one sort of show. We love the challenges. The Fringe in London is an amazing place to take risks and to push the boat out and just see what can be achieved with an audience. So to take sort of a cult classic and turn it into a B movie and integrate, we've got loads of projection in the show, working with sound design, loads of different things that other shows we have worked on haven't used. So it's been a huge challenge, and we've loved every second.
Excellent. And so tell us about some of the cast that are in the piece, and maybe a little bit about the characters that they're playing.
Well, I think the cast is, I'm slightly biased, but I think it's probably one of the best I've ever worked with and one I've ever seen on the Fringe. The caliber is quite extraordinary. Just on paper, the credentials of everyone involved is insane. I couldn't not start with Rob Compton, who plays Batboy. The guy is absolutely sensational. He's stormed all the reviews, all the feedback on Twitter. He's just incredible. His physicality, his vulnerability. We very much wanted to make Edgar, who the Batboy is named, the pivot for the show and the link between the craziness and the reality that the audience are in. And he does it beautifully. We have Lauren Ward and Matt White, who play Meredith Parker and Thomas Parker, just absolute industry stalwarts. They've been so gracious with their, they're such a high level of performer. Matt's obviously a hugely successful director, and to come in to this crazy world, in a small scale off West End stroke Fringe production like this has been amazing. The cast. We've got an incredible number of people. Simon Bailey, Andy Reese, Nolan Frederick. These people are just, they work solidly. West End show after West End show, just bringing their huge amount of talent. I should also shout out Lindsay Siglioni, Pepper Harrison, Georgina Hagan, who plays Shelley, the daughter, is gorgeous. Russell Wilcox, who plays the sheriff. Probably one of the hardest parts to play in the show. He does it absolutely beautifully. It's the sort of voice of moral conscience in amongst the craziness. I think I've mentioned everyone. They are all absolutely outstanding.
And how has Rob, as Batboy, as the title character, how's he been finding the physicality, the voicing the character? How did he find that through the rehearsal process?
We set an afternoon aside to look at the physicality. The first sort of third of the show, he's completely animalistic, completely not at all part of any world that we've seen. So we had an afternoon of just exploring the physical life of this character and looking at how the vocal responses matched the emotional situation. So he then had language that we could then introduce into the show. So when he's happy, he's physically and does certain things. His vocal sounds are very warm, high pitched. When he's scared, he shows his teeth because he has actual fangs that we have made for him. He also has this incredible ability. It's very bizarre, but his shoulder blades, he can pop them out from his back and they basically look like wings. So when he gets very angry and very threatened at the beginning of the show, these things pop out of his back, which has caused quite a stir because it's pretty shocking when you first see it. But he's brilliant.
That's excellent. And yeah, and like you were saying, the response on social networking and Twitter and Facebook, all that stuff has been wonderful. So are you happy with the overall product that you've created here?
Absolutely. We're so proud. What's lovely is we set out to create we sat on the first day and said to everybody, we wanted to create a Batboy that was Edward Scissorhands meets Rocky Horror meets Twitter. And we had a lovely review from the Guardian, basically saying it's Rocky Horror meets Edward Scissorhands, and the Twitter crowd have gone mad for the show, and yeah, we couldn't have asked for more. Really, it's a hugely adventurous show. The amount of projection work and sound design, it's a very different show for Southwark and a very different show on the Fringe to have that amount of projection, but it adds to the whole two-dimensional cartoony B-movie feel. So yeah, very, very proud, and everyone has pulled together just crazy amounts. It's one of those joyous projects where just to hear I've been to watch it a couple of times. Obviously, as a director, you have to keep an eye on the show, just in terms of notes and stuff. In the joys of a West End run, you'd have a resident, but we don't have that luxury. Right. So I'm thrilled every time I go and watch it to hear the audience laughing and enjoying it. And I just, if you haven't seen it yet, do come along to Southwark Playhouse. We're on to the 31st of Jan. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. They're all sensational performers. The band, I have my shout out to the band. Mark Crossland has done sterling work on the band. The exact same lineup as they had the original off-Broadway production.
Amazing.
They're sounding so. It's a absolutely rip-roaring, stupid, bonkers, crazy B-movie night out. Come and see it.
Luke, thanks so much as always for being on the program, and we'll catch up with you again on your next production, hopefully.
Yeah, I can't wait. I don't know quite what it is, but we will definitely catch up, and we look forward to it.
All right, and best of luck and break legs with the rest of the run, fella.
Thank you so much. Take care.
So, folks, head on over to the website, www.southwarkplayhouse.co.uk, and buy your tickets for this wonderful American musical theater piece, which runs until the 31st of this month, so you only have 1 week left to catch it, and at £22 a ticket, what is your excuse for missing it? You have no excuse, by golly. That's southwarkplayhouse.co.uk for my confused American friends. Southwark is spelled Southwark, southwarkplayhouse.co.uk. You can buy tickets for Bat Boy there and for any of the other wonderful shows that are produced at Southwark Playhouse. Thanks again to Luke Fredericks for his time. It's always great chatting with Luke. Head along and see the show, folks, and we will see you at the theater. Goodbye.